Test, test, test. Okay. So I had something interesting happen. I just did a full flight for illusions created by drift, and I had this map opened all the way open so you couldn't see anything I was doing. I just did that for the past hour, so I have to kind of redo this video. Oh crap. Anyways, that's okay. That's all right. So, on tonight's flight, what we're gonna do, I'm skipping the takeoff and the engine run up and taxiing. I'm already out in the training area. Okay, I left the control zone. I'm out here by the Moncton VOR. Okay, so we're out and we're basically really close to the Moncton VOR here, so, which is right here. So what we're gonna be doing is illusions created by drift. I'm gonna be showing what it's like to fly when you're low to the ground and you have a strong winds. We have strong surface winds. So the winds I put in the simulator, and I'll show you how to do that if you're on XPlane 10. So you may want to watch this. So basically what I did, we're 1,000 feet here. I'll press X here. So if you go to weather, environment weather, you can change the winds. So the winds here are 25 knots, gusting 30. So the winds are 25, gusting 30, and that's below the 2,000 feet. And the winds are coming from the south. Okay, so it's 180 magnetic. So if I fly into a heading of 180, if I fly into the wind, it's gonna look like as if the plane is slowing down, but that's an illusion. It's actually not slowing down. The ground speed is decreasing, but it's not slowing down. Now, if I turn around 180 degrees towards the north, if I look in the ground, it looks like the plane is going faster, but in the reality, our ground speed has increased, but our indicated airspeed should be the same. So what we see in the instrument's going to be the same, and our ground speed's going to increase outside, giving us the illusion that we're flying faster. Now, if you fall prey to these illusions, what can happen? If you are flying away from the wind, if you're flying into the wind, so you just turned into the wind, if you fall prey to the illusion, you could potentially accidentally add more throttle, which you may not want because it could burn more fuel, and it won't give you the correct maybe fuel burnage for your flight. Now, if you are flying and you turn into the strong winds behind us, then what could potentially happen is you may bring the throttle back, which can be dangerous as well. Like you could potentially stall the plane by mistake. Okay, so for this exercise, we're going to put 1 notch of flaps for safety. What this does is basically we're going to reduce our airspeed, so our stall speed decreases, we have a better forward visibility, and we have more maneuverability low to the ground. Okay, so we're going to put some flaps. That's going to make this flight a lot safer. Okay, so, and we're also going to show you a bit of skidding and slipping, and we'll go from there. So another thing you might have noticed on this flight, I have my map out. See this? So here's my VNC. So I'm using that. So we're near the VOR. We're still kind of in the control zone here. Okay. So I'm probably at this point, because I told Tower, hey, Moncton Tower, we're going to be working around the VOR. So we'll be doing some exercises around there. I'd probably be staying on his frequency because we're in the controlled area. Okay. So I'd probably be doing that. And yeah, we might do some exercises near Shediac, so I'd probably make a radio call 123.35. So I'd be switching kind of frequencies here, depending on what maybe the control or what Tower wants to do. If he says you're cleared en route and he wants you to make some radio calls there, we would do that, but we maybe make a quick radio call here and stay in this area. So Okay, so I'm gonna minimize the map, and we're gonna put our map away. We'll just put it to the corner. And we're gonna go ahead and show you the illusions here. So because of that added gust, you can see how it's a little bit choppier in the plane, right? The plane's moving around. What you need to do is just don't over control the aircraft and just kind of pick a reference outside. Say you're flying heading of west 270, and it's moving. It's choppy like that. We just focus on that and don't over control the airplane. Don't try to over control all the Don't do this, right? You're just wasting your energy. So you just do like small adjustments like that. Okay, controlling the airplane. You control it, it doesn't control you, right? That's kind of the motto. So I'm going to be turning into, we're still kind of in the control zone, so I'm telling Moncton Tower working 2,000 feet and below at the edge of the control zone here by the Moncton BOR. And he says that's approved, so we're allowed to do it. So I'm flying into the wind. Notice, and I'm flying low too, so we're going to maybe descend a bit lower. It looks like, if I look in the ground, it looks like the plane slowed down, but it hasn't. Okay? We're basically falling prey to the illusions that are happening right now. Okay? So in this situation, oh crap, am I going slower? What's going on here? I'm gonna maybe add throttle, pitch down, but in reality, you should just maintain your what you're doing. Just know, no, I'm flying into the winds, and it's gonna cause my plane to ground speed to decrease. But we have this correct indications here for what we were doing previously. Okay, so now I'm gonna go from a southerly heading to a northerly heading, and we're gonna see what happens. So I'm gonna turn to the north. I'm not gonna bank more than 30 degrees because we're low to the ground. So as we're turning into the, oh, we got some hot air balloons. Should probably avoid those. Okay, we're flying now to the north. And all of a sudden, if I look in the ground, it's like we're speeding up. What's going on here? No, we're not speeding up. We just have a really strong tailwind, right? We have a really strong tailwind right now, and it looks like we're going faster. Oh crap, well, I'm going faster. What should I do? A lot of pilots might slow down by mistake, right? Which may potentially cause you to descend, which is not good. So that's if you fall prey to the illusions. The key is when you're flying your flight simulator low to the ground and these illusions happen, is just trust your instruments that you're flying the same airspeed and just know, okay, these are illusions happening right now. Okay, illusions created by drift. So I'm going to go from a tailwind. There's the road. There's the highway there. I'm going to go from a tailwind to a headwind, and notice how the plane is going to slip outside. It's going to appear that I'm slipping, but I'm flying coordinated, I should say. Okay, so I'm turning, and it feels like the aircraft is slipping. Okay, the winds are pushing the aircraft, but if you look on my turn coordinator, here, I'm flying coordinated. The ball's in the center, right? A little bit more than rate 1 turn, but I'm coordinated. Okay, because my ball is in the center, that means I'm actually flying coordinated, but it feels like I'm slipping outwardly. just gotta pause the simulator. I gotta check one thing. I want to make sure I. What is this? Slip and skid. Okay, a skid, I just want to review the difference between a slip and a skid. Definition. Slipping turn. Okay, I have to review the difference between a slip and a skid and go through that, but I'll just leave it for now. Okay, so I'm going to heading of south. And if I look down on the ground, it appears as if I am flying slower. But I'm not. Okay, that's the illusions that are happening with the strong winds. Okay, I'm just going to climb out here a little bit. Some flaps up. So my homework tonight is to review the difference between slips and skids. I have to review that myself. So as I'm teaching this stuff, to the flight simulator, I am getting homework for myself, slips and skids. I'm going to study that tonight. Slip and skid. So slipping turns and skidding turns, I'm going to review that. Okay, so let's do another exercise. So because of the strong winds, if I want to fly a circle around an obstacle, so see that hot air balloon? I'm going to circle that hot air balloon. If I want to do that with the winds, if I'm flying away from the winds, I have to increase my angle of bank to maintain that circle. Okay, there's one hop. We'll pretend that balloon is the one we're following, and we'll just use this one as a reference. So now I'm flying with the winds behind me. The winds are coming from the south. I'm basically flying to the north. I have to increase my angle bank here. So now when I turn to keep that circle around the hot air balloon, I need to increase my angle bank, and then I'm going to lessen my angle bank to maintain that circle. So I'm slowing the angle bank a bit. All right. So we're flying the plane. We're going to do a simulated precautionary landing. Okay? We're flying the plane. You look at your oil tank outside, and it's spewing oil. You start seeing the oil all over the plane. You're like, what's going on? We look at our oil gauges. We're getting oil pressure is decreasing. Our oil temperature is increasing. We're like, oh crap! If we don't make a landing in the next minute or so, we're gonna have an engine failure. What do we do in this situation? So it's called a precautionary landing. So we're gonna simulate that. So first thing I'm gonna do is do a radio call. So I'd probably do a Mayday call or a Pan call. I'd probably do a Mayday call, or maybe a Pan. Depends on the severity of it. Because we're having oil spewing out, I'd probably do a Mayday call. So Mayday. Cessna 172, November 172 Sierra Papa, November 172 Sierra Papa, November 172 Sierra Papa. We just had a increased loss in oil pressure. It looks like the engine's gonna fail on us in the next minute or so. We're gonna do a precautionary landing field in the farmer's field below, and 2 souls on board. So I'd let him know we're about 6 miles to the I'm just gonna look at my map. So pull up my map. So at this point, I would say we're about 8 miles west of Shediac Bridge. Okay, so that's probably what I would do. If I had that app that I just recently got, an app called Xavion. Another thing to do, I could press emergency on this, see if it gives me any gliding. So I'm just
engaged.
I'm practicing that. It doesn't have any glide, like, so that's if I was that's if I had a full engine failure, but I don't. Like, I still have some engine power. So what I'd probably do is I'd pick the farmer's field, because in about a minute or so the plane's probably gonna have an engine failure. So next thing I'm gonna do is because it's the severity of it, if I do a climb with the engine about to cut out, I may have an engine failure when climbing out. So I'm not gonna go and do a low and do a check on the field because of the emergency. I'm basically gonna go ahead and land the aircraft. I'm gonna go ahead and land the aircraft with, basically we're gonna do a length, obstacles, winds, and surface. Let's unpause the simulator. So length, obstacles, so length. So we gotta pick somewhere where it's safe to land. I like this here. Length is good. Obstacles, there's those trees there, but we'll land early. Winds are, we want to make sure we're landing into the wind. So the winds are from the south, so it's good. And then the surface, farmer's field. Oh, whoops, sorry about that. That's not good. Surface is good. Okay, just one sec. I had the simulator go crazy on me. Okay, length, obstacles, winds, and surface. So it looks pretty good to land. So I'm going to turn around. It's really good to be practicing these exercises on the simulator. It's been a while since I've actually done them in real life, so it's really important to review. So as I turn into the south, I'll be doing into the wind and basically landing the aircraft. So I'm over, because I'm turning, I'm into the headwind. I have to bank more to maintain the flight path that I desired. Okay, there is the field that I want to land to. Bring the power back. I'm going to dump some flaps right away. We got to make this landing, or else we are going to have the engine failure. We need to land on this farmer's field. We need to make it happen, right? Or we're not. So we got that highway. So once we land, we can go to the highway for some help. I prefer to land into the farmer's field because it's just a preference. I'd rather not be landing on the highway with traffic. Looks like it's a fairly busy highway. So we're landing into the headwind, which is the safest. Okay, looks like we're gonna make the farmer's field that we wanted. So we're gonna overshoot. So full power, nose up attitude, 1 notch of flaps right away. We got 2 positive rates, so our airspeed indicator, our altimeter and our VSI is showing a positive rate of climb. 2 positive rates. When you got 2 positive rates, you can put up your flaps to full. Boom. And we'll do a straight climb out to 210. Okay, I'm gonna put the plane on final for runway. Select global airport, local map. There's all our crazy maneuvering. We're gonna put the runway on final. Runway 24, 3 nautical miles. So that's 3 nautical miles for runway 24. Okay, so because we have the winds to the south, which is 180, the plane is gonna want to turn into the wind, okay? The nose is going to be turning into the wind, and even though the nose is turned into the wind, my plane's, if you look to the ground, is going to be flying a straight path towards the runway. So I'll show you this. So I'll pause the simulator. See how it just turned right away into the wind? It's weathercocking into the wind, right? So the only challenge is when I come in to do my landing, the nose isn't straight, right? If I would do this approach, so we're gonna put some flaps, bring the power back, set up for approach for final. If I did this approach in real life without changing something in the airplane, I wouldn't be landing my nose straight into the runway, which could be very dangerous, right? I could get a flat tire. So what I need to do, and I can't really demonstrate it perfectly because I don't have rudder pedals for the simulator yet, but what you'd want to do is you'd want to put the stick into the wind and opposite rudder, and that would straighten the nose to make the landing with a cross. It's basically a crosswind landing. Okay. So I'm pitching up a little bit. So the winds are coming from here. If I don't fix that, then so stick into the wind and then opposite rudder. The only thing is I only have rudder trim. Oh, it's actually working a little bit, I think. There we go. So let's get that set up. So notice how okay. I don't think I can do this properly. So I'm pressing. There we go. So I wish I had rudder pedals, but I don't. There we go. Okay, let's say we're landing. Notice how the nose is straight now? So I have stick into the wind, opposite rudder. I'm not going to obviously land here, but we'll overshoot. It's a little bit difficult to demonstrate without rudder pedals. You pretty much need rudder pedals if you want to fly the simulator. So 2 positive rates. Pops up. But basically what I was doing, I was basically putting stick, or basically aileron into the wind and opposite rudder to do my approach, and that will keep the nose straight and the wheel straight so I can land straight, if that makes sense. Okay, so that was my flight for tonight. I can't really do a proper landing without rudders, so I'm gonna have to go get those rudder pedals pretty soon. We'll end it at that. So I hope you guys learned a little bit with illusions created by drift and how to add your weather change on XPlane 10. And just if you are flying low to the ground with the winds, you need to be aware of that and not get sucked into the illusions and just fly the performance that you want, trusting your instruments in those situations. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.